Hey guys, welcome back to JR14. Here I am with another video for you guys today, and today we're finally going to be changing out these taillights for the Honda Inspire taillights. So without further ado, let's go right now. So welcome back to the channel, guys. So here's one thing that I definitely wanted to do with this car and the Accord. So with the Accord, as you guys know, we've changed to the Tesla wheels. As you guys can see here, we blacked out the chrome trim, tinted the windows, lowered it. We did a couple things on, we put a Tesla screen on the inside, as you can see right there. Sorry for the mess. I told you guys before, like I always wanted to do the Inspire build on this car. Now, if you guys don't know the Honda Inspire, it is basically the Accord and what it's called in Japan. So I'm excited for this. So today I actually am doing part one of the Inspire build, and it's these. As you can see, I've got all this Japanese lettering right here, and we have the Honda Inspire taillights. I had to order these on eBay. They're extremely hard to get, and this whole process of me getting these was extremely difficult, which I'll explain later. But I did order these on eBay. They were not cheap. They're a little over $200. You can find some for almost $200 or high hundreds. But these are OEM tails, and the way that I can tell that is that if you look right here on the housing, it has the Honda logo right there, as you guys can see. So these are OEM tails, and also to complement those, now one thing that I wanted to complement these is with the turn signals. So now the turn signals are going to be amber, so I really wanted to go ahead and get some LED amber turn signals to make it a little bit more modern. As you guys remember, we did the front headlights with full LEDs and also the sequential turn signals and switchback turn signals. So I kind of wanted to complement the rear with some LED turn signals for the rear, and that's what these are right here. I just tested some stuff already to make sure that everything works, so it does work. Now it's just a matter of taking this car apart and putting everything together. So without further ado, I'm going to show you all the steps needed to go ahead and take these taillights out and to install these ones in, because it does require removing the rear bumper, which I'm not happy about. But without further ado, let's get started with the video right now. Well, the first thing that I had to do, unfortunately, I did have to jack up the car a little bit because we do have to remove the screws on the side here. Had to remove off the mud flap here. Here's all the screws here. So I had to do this. I got the bumpers going to be pretty much loose here. So then now I'm going to be doing this side first, and then I'm going to be doing a time lapse of this side right here. So, so this way you'll be able to see me. I'm going to walk you through the steps of doing one side. And then, like I said, I'm just going to do a time lapse of getting the other side done, making sure everything works and bolt everything up. But the first thing I want to make sure for these taillights, there's an LED matrix in here. Now, these are prone to, blowing out sometimes. Sometimes they're okay, sometimes they're not. Worst case scenario, I will have to switch out the ones from here into this, because of the fact that I know they will work. So these work just fine. So I know that worst case scenario, if this LED matrix does not work, I would have to unscrew it and remove this whole assembly out and replace it with my stock one. So that shouldn't be a problem. So let's pop the trunk. So for the first step, there's going to be two clips, one here and one here. They screw out, and then you can pop this seam out right here. I'm also going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm also going to do the same thing on this side here, because I'm going to have to take both of them off, and I have to take this 8mm bolt off right here because of the fact that I need to do both sides. So but I actually just want to show you one first. So with this centerpiece, all you really have to do is just pull up. Just pull up like so. Hang on, let's see. There we go. There we go. Pull out. So then we got that removed and out of the way. Then we can remove this whole side right here. There's a lot of dust that's in here too, so we could push this down. So now we have the whole wiring here. We have, so like I said, I already installed. So far I installed this. This was just for testing purposes, so it does work perfectly. So I'm just gonna unplug this for now and just lay it down. And now what we need is we have these 4 8mm bolts that we have to get out. But first we have to pry this out right here. So for the mud flap, there's a screw right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a screw right here. There's a screw up here, screw here, and a screw on the bottom. And this, well, there's not one on the bottom, I'm sorry. And then you can remove this whole bumper. But before you remove that part, you also have to remove this. You can stick a flathead screwdriver, and then there's a 10mm bolt right in there that we're going to use to get that out. There's also the same thing on the other side as well, and then we'll be able to remove the bumper from this side. This is if you were replacing a taillight or anything like that, but in this case I'm going to remove this 8mm bolt right here. I'm going to remove this screw right here, and we should be okay to remove this side. I'm going to remove this plastic piece, this plastic trim altogether, and then we'll be able to remove the whole bumper off. After removing a 10mm bolt, you can then pull off the bumper here, but before you do that, you actually have to go underneath the car, and there's going to be a push clip that you're going to have to remove from underneath the car, and it's located right here. So all you have to do for that, you have to stick a flathead in there and then pull down like I'm doing here. You'll hear it click out. Then you just pull it down. Good thing it didn't break, because I thought it was going to break. So now, oh, all this dirt is falling out. So now what we can do is we can pull this whole bumper off. So start from here. Take your time. There's going to be clips along this whole seam. Pull up like this. Yep. And then continue pulling around. Then what you can do is you can tuck it underneath the trim like that. When you do that, you can see there's 2 10mm bolts right here, and then there are 8mm bolts inside the taillight, and then you can remove the whole taillight. Now we have to unplug everything, so we unplugged already. I'm going to replace this clip because I have an extra one, and then we're going to also replace, we're just going to unclip the one for the LED matrix here. So then what we're going to do is we're going to remove these 2 10mm bolts here. You need a little bit of an extension. I think I have one that's just long enough to get in there. The good thing is you can pull the bumper down a little bit. You don't have to pull it off all the way. So you can actually just do it like this. And what you can do is you can stick something in between. So I may just use my floor, don't laugh. Let me see if maybe I can. I'm not really worried about the paint too much. Oh, maybe I really should worry about the paint. Okay, so what I did was I just put this. There we go. So now I just used my mud flap to hold against the bracket here. Now I can get to those 2 10mm bolts. This bumper slides in between here, so I think it is a little bit loose, so it should be fine. And now we can go ahead and use these. Get the before we get the 2, we can get the 8mm out first, and then we use the 2 10mm bolts right here, and then we'll just pop this taillight right on out. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Got the 2 bolts removed, the 2 10mm bolts there. Now I'm going to remove these 8s. Just be careful not to drop them in here, because it's a problem to get them back out. So just take your time, do one at a time. It'd be nice if I do the loose, right? It'd be better if I did it loose. There we go. So I'm going to get these loose, and then there's 3 other ones that we have to remove. Okay, now since we got the 2 10s at the bottom and all the 8mm inside out, or we can just pull. Come right out like so. Take your time. There we go. Ooh. All right, and then that is how you get the taillight out. Now, I'm gonna clean up this mess here, and then I'm gonna install the new taillight. All right, guys. So here is the LED tails right here, and the LED turn signal up top. Everything looks really, really good. I love it. The only thing is that these are a little loose, so I'm gonna find something to like tie this down so it doesn't fall out, because it could just pop out, but I don't think it's gonna fall out. And if it does, I can always like pop it back in. But let me put all this back together. This side's done, then I can just go ahead and time lapse the other side. So now we can get back to it. Let's go. All right, guys. So sorry for the mess in the trunk, but I actually wanted to bring something to your attention. Now, in the video, in the previous clip in the video, I mentioned these. These were the lights for the turn signals for the new Inspired taillights that I installed. Now, the only issue, they're great, by the way. The only issue, one of the issues I can get over is that they're a little, the orange is kind of like washed out a little bit. As you can see in this clip, it doesn't look washed out from the clip, but if you look at the taillight, if you look at so the bulb is right here. The issue with the bulb is that it's loose, you know, so when you pull it out, like I said, it's just gonna be easily pulled out. This grommet, it's a rubber grommet, it's not like a plastic twist. So the issue is that it's hard to gauge. It's hard to let this sit in place. Now, they haven't fallen out, and you know, this cover kind of pushes it all out, kind of pushes it in so it doesn't fall out. But I don't want these to eventually fall out and then I would have to redo everything. So I actually ordered a new set of turn signals that are amber, that have, you know, everything needed in them as far as like anti-flash, anti-hyper flash canvas built in them. And they actually are just in the size of a bulb, not all this. And thing up now, and I'm gonna show you those. I'm gonna test them out and I'm gonna see if they still work. So, see if those work. So here we go. All right, so the bulbs that I bought, they're not the same brand. The brand that I bought before was, if I could find it, that'd be great. The bulb that I bought before was from Alla lighting. And the new ones that I bought is from LasFit. Now these were expensive. These were about $30-something. And as you can see, these don't, so this is what these look like. They come with the resistors, the outside resistors, and the plugs. And it comes with the bulb as well. So versus this that has multiple LEDs all around it, this only has 3 Cree LEDs, 3 on each side. So I actually have the LasFit over here, and I have the Alla over here. So if you could see this, it looks good, but it looks washed out a little bit in my opinion. Looks like it, you know, the bulb is really old. But if versus this one, that looks a little bit more orange and true, you know, I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but yeah, this one's definitely more orange and pronounced than that one. So I'm gonna go ahead, put this all back together, and I'm gonna go ahead and install this one on this side and conclude this video. I'll put a link for these down in the description below. So I'm old school, so back in the day, back in, like, you know, when I had my Accords previously, like in 2013, LEDs that had the resistors built in the bulbs didn't exist yet. So they had these, which are like the resistors that are built in the kit and is existing outside of the bulb. You have the bulb here, the resistor, and then the plug. So this is what I thought the style that I had to get. But apparently LasFit makes one that's all inclusive with the bulb, which is great. And then, you know, I can shorten this up. No need for the excess wiring or anything like that. So I'm gonna return these. Not a bad bulb. If you wanna go with these, it's great. They just don't fit in the housings well. But as you can see now, I can use the original plug. It's not going anywhere. And yeah, that's pretty bright. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up on this side and we're gonna close this video out. And I'm gonna put a link for these down in the description and below, so you guys can buy them for yourselves. These are 7440s. You can use 7440 or 7443s. They're the same thing. I think these are the, yeah, 7T 7440As for the 2007 and 2006 Accords for this generation. And also, if you plug them in and they don't turn on, take the bulb out, flip it, and plug it back in and it'll work. That's exactly what happened with me. I thought they didn't fit and work, but they do. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this side and we'll conclude this video. And like I said before, there's nothing wrong with these bulbs, but they claim that they fit into the housings, 7443 and 7440. Nothing wrong with them. They work well. I just think that the orange is just a different shade of orange. And also they just don't fit in the housings properly. So, I mean, nothing wrong with them as well. So I will put them in the link in the description too. But the ones I'll use, I'll put in the description as well. So, but yeah. All right, guys. So now it's finally done. The Inspire taillight install, where we got the amber turn signal, LED turn signals, and it looks fantastic. Now, one of the things I also want to point out is that there's no reflector bulb here. On the US model cars, there's a reflector bulb here, but on the Japanese version of the taillights, that is a US federal requirement for taillights that come with manufacturers. But on the Japanese taillights, they don't need it. Also, if you look here, you'll notice that these lights are different on the side here versus the center and the ones in the center. But yeah. But guys, if you did like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to JR14. You guys remember that cars are a lifestyle. Whew, these look good.